going on? We've got Beth and
Yeah.
CJ.
Hey, what's going on, David?
It's good to meet you guys. I don't think I've met you before.
No, we've been using DealMachine for like a year now. And I guess, I'm really active on the group, but, posted and you guys, were interested in talking to us about our success. So we figured, why not? Let's go and bash it out.
Absolutely. What's been your story? And thank you for being so active in the group.
Yeah, no worries. No. So, do you want to start like the whole?
Yeah, so basically, we started investing in real estate in 2017. And that was really buying big multifamilies. Not big, but, 3 to 4 units in Providence, Rhode Island. And, there's a backstory to how we met and everything, but that kind of rolled into wholesaling because we ran out of cash. We just ran out of capital at one point.
Okay.
So then that led us into wholesaling, which then led us into obviously Drive for Dollars and DealMachine, which is like the best app in the world.
Yeah,
times a million.
Oh, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Honestly, you guys, I feel like I owe you guys so much money. You've just changed our lives. You know what I mean?
It's brought about so many leads that we'd never usually find just by sending out absentee owners and stuff and they're always the better deals from DealMachine. We always make better profit and we get more of them. Now we're averaging two DealMachine deals a month. And then other deals as well, but just from DealMachine, I think we're getting 2 Drive for Dollars each month at least now, which is awesome.
That's awesome. When you said that you're getting higher profits, is that pretty consistently?
Yeah. So I'd say the profits, our profit margin is pretty solid. DealMachine profits tend to average around $20K per deal, as opposed to closer to maybe 13, 14K a deal otherwise.
Okay. And how many properties are you guys putting into DealMachine in order to get 2 deals per month?
We set goals, but we always exceed them. So we try to hit 500 a week between us, but we're around about 700 a week now between the two of us, just because we just we find areas and we end up getting more than we plan to.
Yeah. Well, and so now you guys are wholesaling to generate cash. Are you still doing buy and hold investments or actual flips with that cash?
Yeah, so we're not doing flips. We'll flip a property if it needs 10K, 15K. But yeah, so now we're looking for our first big multi, our 10 plus unit. So yeah, we're aggressively trying to acquire these properties. And again, DealMachine's allowing us to do that, so we kind of have our wholesale and DealMachine, but then we also have our big property acquisitions as well.
Gotcha. Understood.
We do it twofold and it's working out great. It's just such an easy way to store. I remember before DealMachine, I'd be writing it all down on a piece of paper and, it was so inefficient. I'd be losing the piece of paper. Mm-hmm. It would just be scrap, it would just be really messed up and unorganized, but that really helps us keep things really structured and organized. And yeah, we found so much success with it.
Glad to hear that. So how did you guys end up meeting and why did you guys ultimately get into real estate?
So a pretty cool story. We met in Kuwait, out of all places, I guess. So in 2016, I graduated from school, college in Boston. I played basketball and I got a job coaching overseas in Kuwait. And then, I didn't know anyone out there. I go on Tinder and then boom, I met this lovely woman who was a primary school teacher at a British school in Kuwait. I'll say anything about that.
Yeah, wow. I just moved out there after college as well. I was a teacher for elementary school children. And I was out there 6 months. He came out, we met. Kind of fell in love. He wanted to go back to America because he tore his ACL and he was teaching basketball. So he couldn't coach anymore with his injury and he had to go back to the US to get surgery.
Okay.
So he said to me, look, I'm moving back to the US. I have no other choice. Are you going to come with me? And obviously I did. And then we kind of just figured, we figured things out when we got here and it just led us to real estate, which was awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, now we own a company doing wholesaling and owning rentals, and it's great. We love it.
How's your ACL?
My ACL's good. I'm good to go now for sure. I had surgery. That was about 2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. Well, how long had you guys been in Kuwait before you moved back?
So I've been there for about a year and a half.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was there 2 years. Yeah, we really only decided, like, because it was tax free. You know, they gave you accommodation for free. Your money's way better out there. Whatever job you're doing, you know, they just pay you way more. So as like a young college student, it was just a great opportunity to save money. So that's where it all started, really. And then we used that money to kind of invest in real estate. And when
Right.
we ran out, we started wholesaling.
And the whole way along, you know, I'm listening to Bigger Pockets in Kuwait. I'm reading Bigger Pockets books. Like Beth was kind of doing her teacher thing, but I'd be in their ear talking about it, listening to wholesaling podcasts. And I was like, I can't work for anyone. I need to just like run this business and try to crush life with this.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it seems like you're doing a great job.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we're trying. It's great. We really enjoy it.
So, had you ever been to the U.S., Beth? Where are you originally from?
I'm from England, so I've been to the US when I was younger, just like New York kind of places, but never like as a proper holiday. It was more of a stopover on the way to other places. My uncle's from Canada, so we'd stopped there just before we went to Canada. But other than that, I've never been to the US. Now I've really, you know, explored the US since I've been here. We've been all over really, you know, all over the States so far.
Yeah. I've always been curious, can you flip homes outside of the US? Is that a business that people do outside of the US?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they definitely, they still flip houses, but I don't think wholesaling is a thing.
Okay.
I don't think that you can assign a contract in the UK. I've definitely never heard of it, so I'm not sure.
That's the thing though. Like I've talked about that. We actually don't know. I mean, that could be a beautiful thing one day. We go to the UK and then replicate our business over there. You know, there might not be as much competition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have no idea actually. That's something to look into, Dave, because you could probably get a UK DealMachine as well. I'm sure people would jump on it.
Yeah, I just don't know how it works. I'm not sure if there are people who do, you know, 2 deals a month over there, and do they look for rundown houses? I've never heard of that, but I've always been curious.
I'm sure, and I know they flip, so if there was a flipper looking actively for more deals, someone who's hungry for them, I'm sure DealMachine would be right up their alley. I'm not sure about wholesaling, but who knows, you know, it's...
So we'll do that. We'll let you know. Next time we go back to England,
Yeah.
I'll hit up an attorney. I'll see if we can do some assignments, and I'll keep you posted.
So where are you guys at now? What city do you live in?
So we're in a small city in southern Massachusetts. It's called Fall River. It's about 50 miles south of Boston.
What's like average deal size, average property value for a deal that you guys would do?
So, you know, the distressed properties are going to be probably somewhere in the hundreds as in terms of distressed. You know, ARVs, you're probably talking mid-high twos, you know, some threes. So, yeah, and then deal size, I mean, we average just over 16K across like all of our deals.
Okay.
But like she said, you know, 20K for DealMachine. It's been our best list. I call it our golden goose list. You know, no one else, all of our competitors, they can't have our list. You know, they can pull the tax delinquent or the absentee or the probate, but I call her the drive for dollar queen. She gets at least like 400 a week, every single week. And that's what separates our business, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, David, the thing is, I always see people on the group, you know, feel a little bit, you know, they feel downhearted because they'll send out like such a small amount of postcards or such a small amount of marketing or do so many cold calls, and they focus on so little of a list and they put their all into this like small list and they don't get anything back from it. They feel really disheartened. You know, what we've learned in this business is it really is a numbers game. Like, you can't chase these leads. You have to hit a lot of them, and you'll just naturally get a great flow of lead generation through having big and large amounts of like quantity of lists. So we started off, I remember, you know, we had downloaded DealMachine back in April 2019. So it's been just over a year.
Okay.
And for the first 4 to 5 months, we didn't have any leads at all. You know, we kind of kept being very persistent, kept pushing through. We'd have chats between ourselves being like, you know, encouraging each other to keep going on, especially him with me. I was like, I don't know if this works. like, we're not getting any leads. Or if we were getting leads, we were getting angry people calling us. He was like, Beth, come on, like, you can do this. He actually, go and tell him what you did.
Yeah, I basically lied to her one time, and like, husbands, is probably not a good move, but she wasn't as like tuned into the contracts and the attorney and everything. So I basically said, listen, hey boo, you locked down this deal, here's your little cut, $1,600 or something, just when we were starting, just to keep her like motivated. And she was like, oh, that's awesome, we got a deal, all right. She didn't know it was just out of my bank account. It was no deal. I just gave
Okay. All right.
Trying to keep me going, which is nice, but it worked.
Because you knew it would like long-term work out.
What'd you say?
You knew the long-term strategy, as long as you stayed motivated, that you would make money, but you didn't want to quit.
It would take a while. Like everything else, people talk about wholesaling. Oh, it's to get rich quick. I don't think that's the case. You're going to work hard and consistently like every other occupation if you want to be successful. And I knew we just had to keep pushing.
Yeah. So we kept pushing. So we started in April, and then I think we got our first deal in like July or August. We just gone to Hawaii for a little break. We were like, you know what, we need to just kind of reset, regenerate, because we were feeling a little burnt. And then we came back and we got our first deal. And the first deal we got through DealMachine turned into 3 deals, funnily enough. I'll tell you, do you want me to tell you about it?
Yeah, please.
So, this owner calls us up and he's like, you sent me a postcard to a property I own. I actually have another property that I want to sell that I've been working on for years. I want to turn it into an Airbnb, but, it's never really worked out. I've never found the time to finish it. So it was completely gutted. It was in a nice area. It was right by a newly built casino. So it was like, an area that people kind of wanted to maybe potentially own an Airbnb. We locked it down. Do you want to tell them the details? I can't remember. Yeah,
so we locked it down. It was a good deal right away. It was a really good deal. And then as we're walking through the property, I walked through the back door and I can see the neighbor's house, and it's this bright blue, completely like demo house. You got to tear this thing down. It's all wonky and crooked. No one's lived in it forever. So I turned to the owner, what's going on with this house? Do you know the owner? It's a different owner, but he tells us the kid's name. And, one thing leads to another. So we locked down that first property, we made a nice profit on. We contacted the owner of the other one right away. He actually came over to our house. We had coffee. We sat down. We said, listen, we want to buy it for X amount.
What we thought as well is we thought that if we didn't buy both of them, this one would lose value because it had this horrible, ugly view of this very vacant looking distressed property in its backyard. So immediately we're like, if we can't get a hold of the owner of this one, we're not going to be able to wholesale it for as much. So we wanted to try and get them all as a package.
Right.
So we came round for coffee. He was like this young guy who kind of scooped them up when, they were cheap. And we ended up building rapport with the guy. He trusted us. He also owned another lot right next to the blue house that he wanted to sell as well. So we ended up locking down the property originally that the guy called us from, the blue house behind it, which was completely vacant, and then another lot of land from the same person who owned the blue house. And I think we ended up, what did we profit on that? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was like $43K total, between the 3. But it turned out to be, it was really awesome how just one leads to the other, and then you take action, you keep asking questions, and boom, you get an awesome deal.
Yeah, it's just looking for opportunities all the time, so what else is on the street? If someone knows you've bought that house or you're interested in it, they're more likely to maybe sell you a house because they know that you're able to go through with the deal kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'll tell you what, I think people really need to have exposure to you. Would you be interested in doing like one of those hour-long Q&A webinars that we do every couple of weeks?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, great. I'll make sure and follow up with what dates we have available because we would love to get you guys on there.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, CJ's like Mr. Motivation. He'll help anyone feel pumped up by the end. He's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
David, I got an interesting one for you. This is funny. Can I just go off on a different tangent real quick?
Totally.
So, we do such a high volume, right? Or at least we think we do a high volume, 700 a week or whatever. So the DealMachine app, how the updated version has the little black dots for each of the properties?
Yep.
So every once in a while, you click on a dot and it just can't find the owner's address. It'll shoot you to a a completely different territory for whatever reason. Whatever. It's
we don't hate it for this reason, I'll tell you.
It happens like 1 out of 100 times. So anyway, right, we're driving around, we're getting these leads, we click a dot, it scoots us to like this weird property, 60 miles away. And we didn't even think about it, we just saved it, keep it pushing. The owner of that property that we did not mean to get in this area that we don't target and we don't market to, he calls us up. And it turns into 4 lots, right? He sells us these 4 lots that we wholesale. We ended up making like $13K on that deal. But it was literally like,
it wasn't like it was meant to happen. It basically found a different mailing address for the owner. So it was like a property we added and it found a mailing address for somebody else, but it mailed to that person.
Yeah, that's what we call a happy accident.
boom!
Oh, yeah, it was so great because it's been one of the easiest deals. It's just land. We just dished it to one of our regular builders and it was just like cozy. Yeah.
That's crazy. It kind of reminds me when I was first starting out, I went to this conference in 2017 in Phoenix, and I was demonstrating DealMachine to somebody, and they ended up, adding the photo. We were in the conference center, so they couldn't add the photo of a house. They pinned a property nearby, and then they took a picture with the front-facing camera, and it got his bald head on the postcard. So the postcard actually sent out, and it said, "Is this your property?" And then the picture was like his bald head, blurry. And then the guy called back and did a deal. And
really?
So, yeah, it was just so funny because, and then that told me, for somebody who's truly motivated,
yes,
it just doesn't matter if the postcard is absolutely perfect or not.
No, I always think that. I think that like if you've got someone who genuinely wants to sell a house, it doesn't really matter even like, how you deliver a phone call or what marketing you send out. They're motivated and they're going to want to sell.
Right. Funny story, guys. I'm glad that you.
Yeah, we've had loads. We've had loads of great deals from DealMachine. We're just really thrilled with the app and just keep making it much better and better, which we're just so grateful for.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful that you guys let us know about the success you're having. It's really awesome for me to hear and motivating for us. And we'll fix that little glitch that gave you.
You can keep it. It's all good. Whatever works.
We're not complaining.
We're always trying to make it. We're always actively working on making it better. Speaking of that, are there any key features that you guys would like to see next?
Let's think.
Key features. If you can somehow invent a tool to just like highlight the automatic wholesale house when I drive by it, that'd be awesome.
The ones that
Well, do you guys use that? We do have like a highlighting feature. Have you guys used that before?
No,
we haven't tried it yet. No, I've seen it, but I haven't tried it. Like for absentee owner and stuff. Yeah,
you can. Absentee owner is one thing you can highlight. I would actually recommend viewing all owners. I've done plenty of owner-occupied deals.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like to do with the highlight feature currently is show me the properties that have not sold recently. And so that way, that's like the biggest reason why I would not add a property is if it had just sold, for example.
There's one thing, David. So obviously I've got the main account. There's only me and him that drive.
Okay.
I can see when I click on a property when it was bought and what it was bought for, but he can't. So like sometimes, I'll be going through his deals and I'll be like, oh, like, I'm going to have to like go extra, to try and get rid of the ones that maybe have been bought recently. Is there any way that he can have the same screen as me so that we can share that like knowledge about the property detail?
So the basic plan just lets you have one deal finder, which is limited. The professional plan gives you some additional benefits, including having 2 full access team members.
Okay.
So that would be the way to do it. Okay. There's some stuff that you could do though. Now, let me pull it open real quick. Did you guys know we have a new interface coming out?
No.
All right, we do, and it's going to add a lot of like filtering capabilities. The way to do it now is to use the highlight properties, do the any owner, and then sold over 2 years ago. And then if you do that, it's going to highlight properties that are sold over 2 years ago. So right now you could preemptively see who's actually a property within your criteria. and you'd add just the highlighted ones that look run down while you're on the street.
Oh, all right. So when we filter the ones out, that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Okay, could he do that as well with
Yeah.
with
So
like,
yep. Yeah. So right now, I think the deal finders can manage their own highlights,
okay.
and in the future, on the new version of DealMachine, which I'll show you here in a second if you want me to, then the team owner will be able to set what the highlights are for all the deal finders.
Okay.
So,
Oh, yeah.
you guys want to see a sneak peek of that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I have to find it. All right, so this is the new version. Of course, you know, the map is a map, so that's going to look pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
And the highlight menu is slightly different over here on the right, but you do have more options now. So before you had 4 options, and now you've got 5 right here plus 4 more. And actually, we'll be adding a lot more filtering options soon. So you could set let's see, view presets. You can actually save a certain filter criteria. In this case, I saved a filter 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's also applied to my deal finders. And so
okay.
filter 2 is preset to no filter at all. So let me change that real quick. Sale date. It looks like it gives us a range. So let's say there's no minimum year and there's a max year of like 2018. Let's see if that works. Let's see here. There we go. All right, so now save the changes, and it is applied to deal finders. So like this is how you could set it up so anyone on your team like sees the same highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very cool.
The other thing I wanted to share with you guys is it has like this new list view instead of the old one, which is really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can select all your properties really easily. You could change the status here without having to like open the deal and like load it, for example. And then if you open a deal, like it pops over here on the right-hand side. So I don't know, do you guys use the web version at all right now?
I do sometimes, yeah.
Okay. So we're just trying to make it easier for people that have a lot of properties
Mm-hmm.
to do the management side of filtering and managing all those properties. So
Cool.
again, another way you could do the filtering is, let's say he just adds any kind of property. What you could do then is you could filter all the properties submitted through this filter 2 again, which means it's going to do like the date added 2018.
Yeah.
Let's see. 01. Oh, that's date added. We wanted to filter by date sold. And it just crashed. We're in the process of working on it.
Don't worry.
But that's kind of what's coming down the pipe for you guys.
David, I've got a question. Do you actually personally use DealMachine?
Oh yeah, I definitely use DealMachine.
Okay, so what do you do? What's your strategy? Do you cold call? Do you just send out postcards? What do you do with your business?
Yeah, I actually just exclusively send out postcards. And the way I kind of like want a trickle of leads, because I started out doing real estate investing. I've got 9 properties so far, and I want to get to 20. That's my goal within a year. And so I do marketing, but I actually just kind of send out postcards because I don't have like a whole team because I spend most of my time at DealMachine.
Yeah.
So I just try to keep it simple for myself, not have to worry about a cold caller and everything like that. So that's why I do the mailers.
Yeah,
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. I started taking over this corner that I live at right now because I live in like a gentrifying area, and that's actually been really fun. I just sent mail to every house that looks run down, and every once in a while I get a call, and it's worth paying a little more for me, I think, because it's just nice to have them all together, and I'm self-made.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
Good for you.
Start
Thanks.
ranking them now so that they can see that you own them, and then more and more people come to you. You got to stick the DealMachine on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'd love to also hook you guys up with some credit to the swag store, so you guys can get a free hat or something if you want to. Of course, no charge or no shipping or anything like that.
Awesome.
So I'll send you guys a special link.
Cool.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I'll be in touch too about the webinar. I'm excited about having you guys on.
Definitely, let's do it.
So what is that, David? Is it just like a load of people who are part of DealMachine that want to ask questions and we'll speak about them?
Yeah, we usually have a couple hundred people on, and the format is very informal. We'll typically go over what your backstory is and what kind of success you've had so far in the first 10 to 15 minutes. And then the rest will be just open questions. And I like to bring people on video to ask some of their questions. And you just kind of have a conversation with them, get their question answered, and then we'll just bring on the next person.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It always flies by, the time always flies by in that format. So,
we're totally down for
I know
that.
everybody would be excited to talk with you.
Yeah, we're totally down. We love stuff like that.
Cool. Well, I'll be in touch. We do it every couple of weeks. I just need to look at the schedule and reach out to you.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, David.
Bye, guys. Really appreciate it.
Have a good one.
You too.